Hello dear friends. Today I thought I'd just show you a really quick video just to give you an idea of a small little thing that you can make to show somebody that you care for them. So often when we meet people, there's great sadness in people's lives. Sometimes people are just lonely. Yeah, we all struggle in various different ways at different times in our lives. So I thought by showing you how to make a simple little felt heart, you would be able to just show people that you appreciate them and that you love them. These little hearts like this are also known as pocket hugs. So you could give this to somebody and say, here's a little pocket hug, and when you're feeling sad you can just hold it and just remember I've given it to you to show that I care. And you can quite easily mount that onto a nice tag of some sort, write your own little personal message for them on that. You can decorate them as you wish. You can even put one of these little bulb pins onto them so that this can be clipped onto the side of a little bag of some sort, or this could be clipped onto a card if you make them a card. You could put this onto a little keychain as well, and then obviously use whatever you like to decorate it. This is just one of those lovely paper roses. So the first thing that you'll need is to have a heart template. I have two here which I have cut out of cardboard. I've used those over many years for various things. This one I've just put a piece of plastic on. You can either download an image, or if you've got a stencil of some sort you could use one of these. Just choose whichever size heart you want and then trace out. You're going to need to do this on a piece of felt or a piece of fabric. Felt is probably the easier one to work with because it doesn't fray. And that's a big plus when you come to sewing, because you don't have to worry about doing a seam and then turning it inside out. And I have a strand of embroidery cotton here, a single strand, that I'm going to just double up, put a little knot on and work with it. Decide where you want to have your stuffing. I like to have my stuffing on the side here because that's a nice straight edge. I like my stitches in this part of the heart to be nice and neat. So I'm going to bring my thread up on the inside between the two pieces of felt and just tuck my knot inside, and I'm going to do a blanket stitch. That means I'm going to take it across my finger, I'm going to move my needle along and push it through, and then as the loop comes up I'm going to stick my needle through that to create this little stitch known as a blanket stitch. So again, pushing my needle through both pieces of fabric as the loop comes up, looping it, and now you'll see that that kind of locks the two pieces of felt together. So if we just quickly work with this going all the way around, when I get to the point of this little heart I normally do 2 or 3 stitches. So I've got one over there in the end, one in the middle, and then one coming on this side just to give it a nice pointed shape. You want to actually make sure your stitches look really good where there are points. So you're just going to keep working along as you go. I tend to work with shorter pieces of embroidery cotton rather than longer ones because otherwise they tangle, but that's my preference, it's not yours. And then when you get to the end of a piece of cotton like that, you're wanting to pick up your loop and you want to go and do a back stitch through that same stitch, and then I push my needle back through the loop, so you've actually got a double knot. And then I'm just going to simply take my needle and push it into the middle between these two pieces of felt and bring it out the other side. This is not going to get handled a lot and it's not going to get washed a lot, so you'll find that it actually will be quite secure enough. Oops, I'm picking up threads everywhere. So I'm just going to take another piece of thread, again a double piece, thread this with my needle. I find it easier if I fold it over the needle to thread them. Oh, sorry, I've got 2 threads of cotton here, that's why it's not going through. Silly me. Alright, so I'm just going to pull that one off, push my single bit of thread through, and you certainly know when your eyes need to be checked again when you can't thread these needles easily. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to double that and make a knot. Now I'll show you the knot that I like to make is called a quilter's knot. So you grab the 2 ends like that, take your needle, put it on the end of that and wrap this round twice, 1, 2, then put your fingers over the wrapped edges and pull your needle through, and then you have a nice little knot at the end, which is nice and neat. We use that quite a lot in quilting because you can pull that through your fabric. So I'm going to bring my needle up now between the two layers of fabric, two layers of felt, and I'm just going to overlap that stitch so that I continue with my blanket stitch. So I'm going to repeat this and go all the way around till I get to the side where I'm wanting to put a bit of stuffing in. So let me just do this quickly. So as we approach the center here, I've got one stitch just to the left of the V here. I'm pushing another stitch down. I would make this slightly longer so that it's actually in the middle of the V. And then just fairly close to that edge, I do another one to the right hand side of that V, just so that it has a nice neat little finish in that V point, because you don't want it to look ugly. It's going to be noticeable. So we're just going to zip around the corner here. Quickly just get to the point where we're going to fill with some stuffing. Sometimes when I've made these in the past, I've actually written a little prayer for somebody and put it inside the actual heart. It's up to them whether they want to have a look inside. And I used to make little prayer dolls as well, very simple little dolls with a little prayer inside for the person. And sometimes they like to have a look and read the prayer at some point, and sometimes they just like the assurance of knowing that there was a prayer in there meant for them. Okay, so I'm going to take little balls of stuffing, and I'm just going to gently insert that into my heart. I'm going to use the points of my scissors just to get that completely in, and I'm going to push to the farthest edge, so up into that little rounded bulge first. I find with working with smaller pieces, it's far easier than trying to just push a large big blob of the stuffing in. Okay, make sure you get down to the corners because you'd like your heart to hold its shape well. These are great things to make too if you have a market day to come up, or you need to have one of these kids. What do they used to call them at school when they used to have I suppose it's a market day at school where the kids have to make things and make a profit and sell. It's very easy for maybe a slightly older child to be able to make these. Felt doesn't glue very well, so you wouldn't be able to glue them together. You'd have to stitch them, but you could always use a machine under supervision if you were a youngster. Right, so we're going to just stitch this together now to complete our little heart. So pull it and stitch nice and firmly. I'm not quite happy with the filling just under my thumb, but as I close this gap a little bit, I will adjust that with my scissors. So now I'm just going to hold my thread and gently push some of the stuffing up into the top, and then I'm just going to work my way to the edge. So you can see this doesn't take long at all to do, and it is just wonderful to be able to make these for friends and sometimes even just people in the shop. One of the things that was very noticeable in South Africa was that people didn't have a lot of gratitude for those doing work. So you would find somebody at a checkout who wouldn't necessarily be thanked for the work that they've done, or whether they greeted you with a smile. And I used to get great joy in being able to give them something. It was often a little bookmark with just a little felt heart on it, just to say thank you. And I would tell them, I appreciate the fact that you greeted me today. I appreciate the fact that you've been pleasant and courteous while I worked with you, and thank you. But also, sometimes you just sense people's spirits are low, and it's quite a nice way to go up to them and say, I don't know you, but I sense you could do with some encouragement today, and here's a little pocket hug, just so that you remembered. Sometimes those random acts of kindness mean something to somebody you don't know. But anyway, that's my little idea for today. Just some little pocket hugs that you can share with other people, made very, very quickly. And you can obviously decorate to your heart's content, attach them onto various things, put a bit of ribbon on, whatever you feel like doing, because you know in your heart possibly where that's going to go. So let's share love with everybody, and please consider subscribing to my channel and give this a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Bye for now.